The most feared warlord in the galaxy had come to Earth for one reason: to collect humanity's debt. Marcus Kane stood before the enormous window of his flagship and watched Earth rotate beneath him. Blue oceans. White clouds. Green continents. Beautiful. Fragile. His fleet filled the darkness behind him. Hundreds of warships stretched across orbit, their black hulls reflecting the cold light of the stars. Beneath them, military transports descended toward the planet. Marcus had conquered worlds larger than Earth. He had broken civilizations that possessed weapons capable of destroying stars. Earth had neither. That was why he had not destroyed it already. He had come to collect. A quiet voice spoke behind him. "Warlord Kane, the final surrender transmission is ready." Marcus did not turn. "Send it." The officer hesitated. "Sir, the human government is requesting another hour." Marcus finally looked over his shoulder. "Another hour?" "Yes, sir." "For what?" The officer swallowed. "They say they need time to prepare." Marcus stared at him. "Humanity has had 20 years to prepare." The officer lowered his eyes. Marcus turned back toward Earth. 20 years. That was how long humanity had ignored the debt. 20 years since the Galactic Dominion had delivered its final demand. 20 years since Earth had signed the agreement. And now the payment was overdue. Marcus lifted one hand. "Open the planetary channel." A holographic display appeared before him. Millions of human communication systems connected at once. His face appeared across screens around the world. Marcus spoke calmly. "Humans of Earth." His voice carried through every city. "You were given 20 years. A pause. You were warned. Another pause. And now your debt is due." Across Earth, people looked toward screens. Some cried. Some prayed. Some simply stared. Marcus continued. "You have 1 hour to surrender all military assets and transfer control of your planetary government." His amber eyes hardened. "If you refuse, your cities will be occupied by force." He paused. "And if you resist, I will treat resistance as a declaration of war." The transmission ended. Inside the command chamber, silence followed. One of his generals smiled. "Earth will surrender." Marcus said nothing. He already knew they would. Humanity had no choice. At least, that was what he believed. 3 hours later, Marcus was walking through the command deck when his daughter appeared on his private communication screen. "Emily." He stopped. For a moment, the warlord disappeared. There was only a father looking at his daughter. She smiled. "Father." Marcus's expression softened. "Emily." She was sitting somewhere on Earth. Marcus immediately noticed the background. A small kitchen. Wooden cabinets. Warm lights. Human furniture. He frowned. "Where are you?" Emily glanced around. "I'm safe." "That was not my question." She smiled. "You are always so serious." Marcus sighed. "You were supposed to remain aboard the diplomatic transport." "I got bored." "Emily." She laughed. That laugh had always been his weakness. Marcus had spent decades becoming something the galaxy feared. He had never learned how to become frightening to his daughter. "You promised me you would stay away from the occupied zones," he said. "I am." "Then where are you?" Emily looked toward someone beside her. Marcus heard a child's voice. "Emily, do you want another one?" Emily looked back at the screen. "Father, I have to go." Marcus narrowed his eyes. "Emily." She smiled. "I love you." The screen disappeared. Marcus stood motionless. One of his generals approached. "Is everything all right, sir?" Marcus's expression hardened again. "Find my daughter." "Yes, sir." "And bring her to me." The general turned. Marcus looked back toward Earth. Something felt wrong. He could not explain it. But his instincts had kept him alive through 4 decades of war. And right now, every instinct he possessed was telling him that something on Earth mattered. Something he had overlooked. 20 minutes later, the location was found. A human residential district. Marcus stared at the coordinates. "Take me there." The general blinked. "Personally, sir?" "Yes." "But the planetary surrender." "Can wait." Marcus left the command deck. His shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere. Below him, the city looked strangely peaceful. That irritated him. His fleet was surrounding the planet. His soldiers were occupying strategic facilities. Yet people were still walking through streets. Cars were moving. Children were playing. Humanity was behaving as though the galaxy's most feared warlord had not just arrived at their doorstep. The shuttle landed outside a small residential building. Marcus stepped out. His soldiers immediately formed a perimeter. The front door opened. Emily stood there. Marcus stopped. She looked beautiful. Almost entirely human. Long brown hair. Green eyes. Soft features. A simple cream-colored dress. For a moment Marcus forgot why he had come. Then he saw what was behind her. A little girl. Lily Carter. She was sitting at a small wooden table. There was flour on her cheeks. A plate sat in front of her. And beside the plate was a tray filled with freshly baked cookies. Marcus stared. Emily smiled. Father. Marcus walked inside. His soldiers remained outside. He looked around the small home. Nothing about it made sense. No weapons. No military equipment. Just a family kitchen. Emily walked toward him. You came. You disobeyed my orders. I know. You could have been captured. I wasn't. Emily. She laughed softly. Then Lily looked up. She studied Marcus without fear. Marcus looked back. The child tilted her head. Are you Emily's dad? Every soldier outside heard the question through the open doorway. Nobody moved. Marcus looked at Emily. Emily smiled. Yes. Lily nodded. Then she picked up a cookie. She held it toward him. Do you want one? Marcus stared at the cookie. He had eaten food on 1,000 worlds. He had tasted delicacies prepared for emperors. He had eaten meals that cost more than entire human cities. This was just a small round cookie. Golden brown. Slightly cracked on top. Warm. Marcus slowly reached for it. Emily watched him. Lily smiled. Marcus took one bite. And froze. His eyes widened. The entire room seemed to disappear. The kitchen. His daughter. The soldiers outside. Earth. Everything vanished. He was a child again. Standing in a tiny house on a distant world. His mother was laughing. She was holding a tray. And she was saying the same words Lily had just spoken. Try one, Marcus. His fingers tightened around the cookie. He had not tasted that flavor in 40 years. It was impossible. His mother had died before he became a soldier. Before he became a commander. Before anyone called him Warlord Kane. Marcus looked at Lily. His voice came out barely above a whisper. Where did you learn to make this? Lily shrugged. My mom taught me. Marcus looked at Emily. Emily's smile disappeared. Father? Marcus slowly lowered the cookie. His face had changed. The warlord was gone. In his place stood a frightened young boy who had just remembered something he had spent his entire life trying to forget. He turned toward the doorway. Cancel the invasion. Emily stared at him. What? Marcus's soldiers looked at each other. His general stepped forward. Sir? Marcus's voice became cold. I said cancel the invasion. But the debt. Marcus turned. The general immediately stopped speaking. Marcus looked toward Earth. Then back at the cookie. His hands were shaking. Find out who taught humanity this recipe. The general looked confused. Sir, it's a cookie. Marcus stared at him. No. His eyes returned to Lily. It isn't. And somewhere deep beneath Earth's surface, an ancient machine that had been silent for 20 years suddenly powered on. Nobody in the room knew it yet. But humanity's debt was never really about money. It was about a promise. And Marcus Kane had just realized that Earth might be the only place in the galaxy where that promise could still be fulfilled. Marcus Kane stood in the middle of the Carter family kitchen, staring at the half-eaten cookie in his hand. Outside, thousands of soldiers waited for his command. Above Earth, hundreds of warships remained in position. One order from Marcus would restart the invasion. but he could not move. He looked at Lily. The little girl was watching him with innocent curiosity. "Did I do something wrong?" she asked. Marcus slowly shook his head. "No." "Then why do you look scared?" Marcus had no answer. He had faced assassins, rebellions, planetary uprisings, and armies that wanted him dead. None of them had frightened him. A cookie had. Emily stepped closer. "Father, what is happening?" Marcus looked at her. "When I was a child, my mother used to make these." Emily's expression changed. "You told me your mother never cooked." "She did not." Marcus stared at the cookie again. "Not after the war." Lily frowned. "What war?" Marcus looked at her. "The war that destroyed my home." The room became quiet. Daniel Carter slowly stepped forward. "What does that have to do with my daughter's cookies?" Marcus turned toward him. "I don't know." That answer surprised everyone. The Galactic Warlord was supposed to know everything. Instead, he looked almost troubled. Marcus reached for the plate. "Who taught you this recipe?" Daniel glanced at Sarah. Sarah stepped forward. "I did." Marcus looked at her. "Where did you learn it?" "My grandmother." "Where was she born?" Sarah hesitated. "Pennsylvania." Marcus's eyes narrowed. "Your grandmother?" "Yes." Marcus looked at Lily. "How old was she when she learned it?" Sarah thought for a moment. "Maybe 7." Marcus went completely still. Emily noticed. "Father?" Marcus whispered a number. 7. Emily frowned. "What?" "My mother taught me when I was 7. Lily smiled. "Maybe your mom and my grandma had the same recipe." Marcus slowly turned toward her. "No." His voice was quiet. "They could not have." "Why?" "Because my mother was not human." Lily's smile disappeared. Daniel moved closer to his daughter. Marcus noticed the movement. He understood. To humans, he was still the invader. Still the warlord. Still the monster who had surrounded their world. Marcus looked at Daniel. "If I wanted your family harmed, they would already be dead." Daniel did not answer. Marcus continued. "I came here because your planet owes my empire a debt." Daniel's jaw tightened. "We never borrowed anything." Marcus's eyes hardened. "You signed the treaty." "We signed a treaty under threat." "That does not make the debt disappear." Sarah looked at him. "Then why did you stop the invasion?" Marcus looked down at the cookie. "Because I think someone made a mistake 20 years ago." Daniel frowned. "What kind of mistake?" Marcus did not answer. His wrist device suddenly activated. A military hologram appeared. General Miller's face filled the air. "Warlord Kane." Marcus looked at him. "Speak." "Your orders have caused confusion across the entire fleet." "I know." "The planetary government is requesting an explanation." "Tell them the invasion is suspended." Miller stared at him. "They want to know why." Marcus looked toward Lily. "Tell them I am investigating a matter of personal importance." Miller's expression hardened. "With respect, Kane, humanity's future cannot depend on your personal affairs." Marcus's eyes narrowed. "Be careful, General." Miller did not back down. "You have surrounded our world. You have occupied our cities. You demanded surrender. Now you suddenly order your soldiers to stand down because a child gave you a cookie." Marcus stepped closer to the hologram. "You are correct." Miller looked surprised. Marcus continued. "That is exactly what happened." The general stared at him. "Then perhaps you should explain." Marcus looked at Lily. "I will." He ended the transmission. Emily stared at her father. "You trust that human general?" "No." "Then why tell him anything?" "Because he is afraid." Emily blinked. Marcus continued. "Afraid men make mistakes." He looked at Lily. "But curious men ask questions." Lily raised her hand. Marcus looked at her. "Why are you raising your hand?" "I have a question." "What?" "Do you want another cookie?" For the first time that day, Marcus almost smiled. "Almost." "Yes." Lily happily pushed the plate toward him. Marcus picked up another cookie. He took a bite. Nothing happened. He frowned. Then he tried another. Still nothing. He looked at Lily. Where is the rest of the recipe? Lily pointed toward the kitchen. Mom keeps it in the drawer. Marcus looked toward Sarah. Show me. Sarah hesitated. Then she opened a wooden drawer. Inside was a handwritten recipe card. Marcus walked toward it. He stopped before touching it. The handwriting was human. The ingredients were ordinary. Flour, butter, sugar, vanilla, chocolate. Nothing unusual. Then Marcus noticed something written at the bottom. A sentence. He read it once. Then again. His face changed. Emily stepped beside him. What does it say? Marcus did not answer. Emily read it herself. Her eyes widened. The sentence was simple. Do not let the children forget. Emily looked at her father. Father? Marcus finally spoke. My mother used to say that. Sarah stared at him. My grandmother said the same thing. Marcus slowly turned toward her. When? Every time she baked. Marcus's breathing became heavier. That phrase existed before humanity made contact with my empire. Sarah looked confused. How could that be? Marcus looked at the recipe. That is what I am trying to find out. Suddenly, every light in the house flickered. The kitchen went dark. Lily gasped. Emily grabbed her hand. Outside, the alien soldiers raised their weapons. A low vibration moved through the floor. Marcus immediately turned toward the ground. What was that? Daniel looked around. I don't know. The vibration came again. Stronger this time. The glass on the counter shook. Then another. Marcus's wrist device screamed with an emergency alert. He activated it. General Miller appeared again. This time his face was pale. Kane. Marcus looked at him. What happened? We detected an energy surge beneath the city. How large? Miller swallowed. Large enough to trigger every sensor we have. Marcus's expression hardened. Location? Miller gave him the coordinates. Marcus looked at Daniel. Then, at Lily. The coordinates were directly beneath the Carter home. Nobody spoke. Marcus moved toward the floor. His soldiers entered the house. Emily stood beside him. What is down there? Marcus looked at her. I don't know. Another vibration shook the house. Lily looked frightened. Marcus immediately crouched beside her. His enormous armored frame lowered until his eyes were level with hers. Do not be afraid. Lily stared at him. Are you afraid? Marcus paused. Then answered honestly. Yes. Lily looked surprised. You? Marcus nodded. That is why you should listen to me. She took his hand. His enormous armored fingers nearly covered hers. The vibration stopped. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then the floor beneath them opened. Not collapsed. Opened. A perfect circle of light appeared beneath the kitchen table. A hidden staircase descended into darkness. Daniel stepped backward. Sarah pulled Lily close. Emily stared into the opening. Marcus reached for his weapon. Then he stopped. There was a symbol carved into the edge of the staircase. He knew that symbol. He had seen it once. 40 years ago. On the door of his mother's home. Marcus whispered the words. The first hearth. Emily looked at him. What is that? Marcus did not answer. He stepped toward the staircase. His soldiers followed. At the bottom was a chamber that should not have existed beneath a human home. Ancient machines covered the walls. Strange lights pulsed through crystal conduits. At the center stood a massive circular structure. Marcus approached it slowly. The machine recognized him. A voice filled the chamber. Old. Mechanical. But unmistakably familiar. Marcus Kane. Marcus froze. Emily grabbed his arm. The machine continued. You have returned. Marcus stared at it. His face had gone completely pale. Because the voice belonged to the only person he had spent 40 years trying to forget. His mother. Then the machine spoke one final sentence. Your debt is not owed to humanity. Marcus stepped closer. Then who do I owe? The ancient machine awakened, and across its surface appeared a single message. You owe them a life. Marcus stared at the words. Behind him, Lily quietly asked, Whose life? Marcus did not answer. Because he already knew. And somewhere in the darkness beneath Earth, something began to wake up. Marcus Kane stared at the words glowing across the ancient machine. You owe them a life. For several seconds, nobody moved. The chamber seemed to hold its breath. Emily stood beside her father, her emerald eyes fixed on the inscription. Lily remained close to Daniel, watching Marcus carefully. Then Marcus whispered a name. Evelyn. Emily looked at him. Who is Evelyn? My mother. Marcus stepped toward the machine. The ancient structure reacted immediately. Blue light traveled through the floor beneath his boots. Symbols appeared across the walls. One after another. A map of the galaxy formed in the air. Then Marcus saw something that made his expression change. Earth. Not modern Earth. An older Earth. The continents looked different. The oceans were different. The planet was surrounded by enormous alien vessels. Marcus stared. This happened before. Daniel moved closer. What happened? Marcus pointed toward the projection. My people came here. Sarah looked confused. When? Long before your recorded history. Emily looked at her father. You told me our empire discovered Earth only 20 years ago. I believe that was true. The projection changed. A massive alien ship appeared above an ancient human settlement. Then another. And another. Marcus watched as soldiers descended. But they were not attacking. They were running. Carrying injured humans. Protecting children. Marcus's eyes narrowed. What is this? The machine answered. First contact protocol. Emily whispered. First contact. Marcus turned toward the machine. Why were they protecting humans? The chamber went dark. Then a voice filled the room. Evelyn Kane. Marcus froze. Her voice sounded exactly as he remembered. Warm. Gentle. Patient. Marcus, if you are hearing this, then you survived. His breathing stopped. Emily reached for his hand. The recording continued. I know you will become angry when you discover the truth. Marcus's jaw tightened. You are always stubborn. A faint smile appeared on his face. For 1 second, he was no longer the Galactic Warlord. He was a little boy listening to his mother. Then the recording became serious. The humans saved us. Marcus looked at Lily. The little girl stared back. Evelyn continued. Our fleet was dying. Our people were starving. Our engines had failed. We believed we had reached the end. The projection changed. Alien ships drifted helplessly through space. Then Earth appeared. Humanity found us. Marcus slowly shook his head. No. Evelyn's voice continued. They gave us food. Images appeared. Human hands carrying supplies. Medical teams treating alien soldiers. Children offering food to alien children. They gave us shelter. Another image. A human family opening their home. They gave us their technology. A primitive human laboratory appeared. And finally the image changed again. A small child handed an alien soldier a cookie. Marcus stepped backward. The cookie in his hand suddenly felt impossibly heavy. Lily stared at the projection. That looks like mine. Emily looked at her. It does. Marcus looked at the machine. Why did we forget? Evelyn answered. Because your father ordered the records destroyed. Marcus's expression hardened. My father? He believed humanity was too dangerous. Daniel stepped forward. Why? The projection changed again. A massive alien weapon appeared. Evelyn continued. Because humanity discovered something our empire wanted. Marcus stared at the image. What? The machine displayed a strange symbol. A living energy network. Humanity discovered how to create life from energy. Silence. Marcus finally understood. His empire had not come to Earth because humanity owed them money. They had come because humanity possessed something the empire had wanted for generations. But there was more. Evelyn's voice became quieter. Your father ordered the human colony destroyed. Marcus's eyes widened. He did what? He believed destroying the colony would erase the secret. The projection changed. Fire covered a human settlement. Marcus stared in horror. How many? Evelyn paused. 27,000. Emily covered her mouth. Daniel looked away. Sarah pulled Lily closer. Marcus stood perfectly still. 27,000. The number echoed inside his mind. His father had not conquered them. He had erased them. And Marcus had spent his entire life believing the official story. That humanity had attacked first. That the debt was legitimate. That Earth had betrayed the Empire. Every war. Every occupation. Every execution. Every planet he had conquered in the name of justice. Built on a lie. Marcus looked at Emily. I killed people because of this. Emily stepped toward him. You didn't know. I should have. You were lied to. Marcus looked at the machine. That does not bring them back. Lily slowly stepped forward. Marcus looked down. The little girl held another cookie. She extended it toward him. You can have this. Marcus stared at her. He did not understand. Why? Lily shrugged. Because you look sad. Marcus lowered himself until he was kneeling in front of her. His armor touched the stone floor. For a moment he said nothing. Then he accepted the cookie. Thank you. Lily smiled. Marcus looked at the cookie. He suddenly remembered his mother. Not the war. Not the destruction. Her kitchen. Her hands. The smell of warm bread. Her voice. Do not let the children forget. He finally understood what she had meant. The cookie was never the secret. It was the memory. A simple human tradition passed from one generation to another. Proof that someone had survived. Marcus stood. Then every light in the chamber turned red. An alarm screamed. General Miller's voice came through the communication system. Kane, we have a problem. Marcus activated the channel. What happened? 3 Dominion battle groups just entered Earth's atmosphere. Marcus's eyes narrowed. My orders were clear. They aren't yours. Marcus went silent. Miller continued. The fleet commander is General Victor Shaw. Marcus knew the name. Shaw was one of his most loyal generals. And one of the most ruthless men in the Dominion. Where is he going? Miller looked at his readings. Straight toward the capital. Marcus's face hardened. Contact him. We tried. Again. We can't. Marcus turned toward Emily. Stay here. She shook her head. No. Emily. You're going after them. Yes. Then I'm coming. Marcus stared at her. You don't understand what Shaw is capable of. Emily stepped closer. I'd understand what you're capable of. Marcus stopped. You changed because of me. No. Emily looked at Lily. You changed because of her. Marcus looked toward the little girl. Lily was standing beside Daniel. She held the recipe card. The same card that had awakened the machine. Marcus's eyes narrowed. Where did you get that? Lily looked at it. Mom gave it to me. Marcus walked over. May I see it? Lily handed it to him. Marcus turned the card over. There was writing on the back. He had not noticed it before. His mother's handwriting. He recognized it immediately. Marcus read the words. If they ever return, give this to the child. His hands began to shake. Emily looked over his shoulder. Father? Marcus looked at Lily. The meaning struck him like a weapon. His mother had known someone would return. She had known the Empire would come back. And she had known a child would be the one to receive the message. Marcus turned toward the machine. Who is the child? The machine did not answer. Instead, the entire chamber began to vibrate. A beam of light shot from the central device and struck Lily. Daniel rushed toward her. Lily! Marcus caught him. Wait! Lily stood completely still. Her eyes began to glow faintly. Emily stared. What is happening? The machine spoke. Life key detected. Marcus's blood ran cold. Life key? The machine continued. Human genetic sequence confirmed. Marcus looked at Lily. Then at Emily. Then at the ancient machine. The debt. The cookie. His mother's message. None of it had been coincidence. Lily was connected to the secret his father had tried to destroy. And now General Shaw was heading toward Earth to take her. Marcus's expression became terrifyingly calm. He opened the planetary command channel. Every Dominion ship received his voice. This is Warlord Marcus Kane. The fleet went silent. You were ordered to stand down. No one answered. Marcus continued. Those orders remain in effect. A transmission finally came through. General Shaw's voice. I'm afraid, Warlord, that authority has changed. Marcus's eyes hardened. Explain. You are no longer in command of this operation. Marcus looked toward Lily. Then toward the ancient machine. Shaw continued. Step aside, Marcus. A pause. Or I will destroy the city. Marcus smiled. It was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of the man the galaxy had spent 40 years learning to fear. You should have destroyed the city. Shaw paused. Marcus raised his weapon. Because now I have something worth fighting for. Outside, the sky filled with alien warships. And for the first time in his life, Marcus Kane was not preparing to conquer a world. He was preparing to defend one. The sky above Earth turned red. Marcus Kane stood inside the ancient chamber as the walls trembled around him. General Shaw's fleet had entered the atmosphere. 3 battle groups. Hundreds of warships. Thousands of soldiers. And every one of them believed Marcus Kane was no longer in command. Emily stood beside him. Lily was behind Daniel and Sarah, her small hand wrapped tightly around her father's. The ancient machine continued to glow. The words life key detected remained suspended above the chamber. Marcus looked at the message. Then, at Lily. What does it mean? Daniel asked. Marcus did not answer immediately. He had spent his entire life believing power meant control. Control over soldiers. Control over planets. Control over fear. Now he understood something his father never had. Power meant choosing what you were willing to protect. Marcus activated his wrist communicator. Open a channel to General Shaw. Static filled the chamber. Then a voice answered. You have 5 minutes to surrender command. Marcus almost laughed. You entered my airspace without authorization. You suspended the invasion. I did. You violated Dominion law. Marcus's expression hardened. Dominion law is built on lies. Silence. Then Shaw spoke. You finally discovered it. Emily looked at her father. Marcus's eyes narrowed. You knew? I knew enough. Then you know what is beneath Earth. I know what is beneath a house. Marcus looked toward Lily. Shaw continued. The life key. Lily stepped backward. Daniel immediately moved in front of her. Marcus's voice became dangerously quiet. You will not touch her. That is no longer your decision. Marcus stared at the communicator. It became my decision the moment you threatened a child. Shaw laughed. You are emotional. No. Marcus looked at Emily. I am finally thinking clearly. Shaw's voice became colder. Give us the child. No. Then I destroy the city. Marcus closed his eyes for a moment. He could hear the distant thunder of ships above them. He imagined millions of people looking toward the sky. Waiting. Terrified. He had been the reason for their fear. Now he would become the reason they survived. Marcus opened his eyes. General Shaw. Yes? You made one mistake. What mistake? You thought I came to Earth to collect a debt. Marcus disconnected. Emily stared at him. What are you going to do? Marcus looked toward the ancient machine. End 1. He turned to Daniel. Take your family deeper into the chamber. Daniel hesitated. What about you? I am going upstairs. To fight that fleet? Marcus nodded. Daniel looked at the enormous warlord. You cannot defeat 3 battle groups alone. Marcus gave him a faint smile. I am not alone. He looked at Emily. She stepped forward. I am coming. No. You need someone who knows the human cities. Marcus looked at her. You could die. So could you? Marcus stared at his daughter. For 3 years he had barely spoken to her. He had believed keeping her away from war was protection. Now he realized he had only kept her away from the truth. He placed a hand on her shoulder. I am sorry. Emily looked surprised. For what? For making you believe your father was a good man. Emily's eyes softened. You are trying to become one. Marcus nodded. That may have to be enough. The ground shook violently. A deafening explosion erupted above them. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lily screamed. Sarah pulled her close. Marcus immediately moved toward them. Everyone stay here. Another explosion. The chamber lights flickered. Then the machine activated. A massive holographic map appeared. Earth. The moon. Orbit. And thousands of enemy ships. But something else appeared. A second fleet. Far beyond the solar system. Marcus stared at it. What is that? Emily stepped beside him. Those aren't Shaw's ships. Marcus's expression changed. No. The ancient machine had detected another force. An older force. One that had been waiting beyond the edge of the galaxy. Marcus looked at the machine. Who are they? The machine answered. Those who were promised the life key. Daniel frowned. Who promised them? Marcus already knew. My father. The chamber went silent. Marcus suddenly understood why the Empire had never truly forgotten Earth. Why the debt had been created. Why his father had destroyed the first human colony. Why the Dominion had spent decades searching for the secret. It had never been about technology. It was about a deal. His father had promised another civilization the power to create life. And when humanity refused to surrender it, he had tried to erase them. But the secret had survived. Inside a human bloodline. And somehow Lily carried it. Marcus looked at her. Your family has been protecting this for generations. Lily frowned. I don't understand. You don't need to. Marcus crouched in front of her. You just need to remember one thing. What? You are not a weapon. Lily looked at him. Then what am I? Marcus glanced toward the machine. Proof. Proof of what? That humanity survived. Suddenly, the chamber doors exploded inward. Alien soldiers poured through. Daniel pulled Lily behind him. Sarah grabbed Emily. Marcus moved faster. He drew his weapon. First soldier fired. Marcus deflected the shot. He crossed the room in seconds. His armored fist struck the soldier and sent him crashing into the wall. 2 more attacked. Marcus turned. 1 strike. Then another. The chamber fell silent. The remaining soldiers stopped. They had expected the warlord Kane. They had not expected him to fight his own army. Marcus pointed his weapon at them. Leave. The soldiers hesitated. Now. They dropped their weapons. Marcus looked at Emily. Get them to safety. Emily nodded. Then she noticed something outside the broken doorway. A massive shadow passed across the sky. Everyone looked up. A warship descended. Not one of Shaw's. It was enormous. Black. Ancient. Its hull was covered with glowing violet symbols. Marcus stared. He recognized the design. His father's flagship. Emily whispered. That ship is 40 years old. Marcus shook his head. It was destroyed. The ship stopped above the city. A transmission opened. A woman's voice filled the chamber. Marcus. Marcus froze. It was Evelyn. His mother. But the recording had been decades old. This was Liv. Marcus stared at the hologram. His mother's face appeared. Older. Tired. Alive. Emily gasped. Grandmother? Marcus could barely speak. Mother? Evelyn looked directly at him. You found the child. Marcus stepped forward. You're alive. For now. The transmission flickered. Marcus's hands tightened. Where are you? Not where you think. What happened? Evelyn looked toward Lily. She is the last life key. Marcus shook his head. She is a child. She is both. Emily stepped closer. What does that mean? Evelyn looked at her. It means your father was wrong. Marcus stared. My father? He believed humanity had discovered the secret. Evelyn's expression became sad. They had not discovered it. She looked at Lily. They created it. Daniel stepped forward. Created what? Evelyn answered. Life itself. The entire room went silent. The ancient machine began to glow brighter. Lily's eyes began glowing again. Emily moved toward her. Lily? The little girl looked frightened. I don't feel good. Marcus immediately stepped forward. Turn it off. Evelyn shook her head. I can't. Why? Because it has already chosen her. Marcus looked at the machine. The life key was not something Lily carried. It was something the machine recognized inside her. A living connection. A biological key passed from generation to generation. And now the ancient system was waking because she was near it. Marcus turned toward the surface. Shaw's fleet filled the sky. Beyond them, the second fleet was approaching. 2 enemies. 1 planet. 1 child. Marcus understood what would happen next. Every power in the galaxy would come for Lily. And Earth would be destroyed trying to protect her. Unless he changed the rules. Marcus opened every military channel. His voice echoed through every Dominion ship. This is Marcus Kane. Shaw immediately responded. You are surrounded. Marcus looked toward the sky. No. He smiled. You are. Shaw frowned. Marcus activated the ancient machine. A wave of energy exploded from beneath Earth. Every Dominion ship lost power. Weapons shut down. Engines failed. Navigation systems went dark. Shaw's fleet froze in orbit. Then every human communication network on Earth came alive. Marcus spoke directly to humanity. For 20 years my empire told you that you owed us a debt. People across the planet watched. Marcus continued. I was wrong. He looked at Lily. You owe us nothing. A pause. Humanity saved my people once. His voice hardened. My empire repaid that kindness with fear, lies, and violence. Marcus removed the insignia from his armor. The symbol of the Dominion. He dropped it onto the floor. Today that ends. Emily stared at her father. Marcus continued. I am no longer your enemy. Then he looked toward the sky. And anyone who comes for this world will have to come through me. The ancient machine suddenly released a pulse of light. Every ship in orbit vanished from the sensors. Not destroyed. Gone. Marcus stared at the empty sky. Then Evelyn's voice came through one final time. Marcus. He turned toward the hologram. What? You have awakened something. The transmission disappeared. The chamber fell silent. Emily looked at him. What did she mean? Marcus looked at Lily. The little girl was staring at her glowing hands. I don't know. Then the ancient machine spoke again. Second gate opening. Marcus's face went pale. Emily looked toward the floor. What is the second gate? Marcus raised his weapon. I think we're about to find out. Deep beneath Earth, something enormous began moving. And for the first time since the beginning of human history, the planet itself seemed to wake up. The ground beneath Earth began to move. Not shake. Move. Across the entire planet, ancient structures buried beneath mountains, oceans, deserts, and cities awakened at once. For the first time in thousands of years, Earth was no longer silent. Marcus Kane stood inside the underground chamber, staring at the ancient machine. Lily stood beside him. Her hands still glowed with a soft violet light. Emily watched her father carefully. Father, she whispered, what did you wake up? Marcus looked at the machine. I don't think I woke it. A deep sound rolled through the chamber. The machine answered. Earth has awakened itself. Daniel stared at the walls. What does that mean? Marcus looked toward the ceiling. It means this planet was never defenseless. Above them, the Dominion fleet suddenly regained power. General Shaw's voice filled every communication channel. Kane. Marcus activated the transmission. Jaw. You have 5 minutes. For what? For your surrender. Marcus almost smiled. You still think you are in control? I have 3 battle groups surrounding your planet. Marcus looked at the ancient machine. No. He pointed toward the ceiling. You have 3 battle groups trapped inside Earth's defense network. Jaw went silent. Then alarms erupted across his fleet. Marcus's wrist display filled with emergency signals. Weapon systems offline. Navigation systems locked. Engines restricted. Thousands of ships suddenly found themselves unable to move. Jaw's voice returned. What did you do? Marcus answered calmly. I didn't do anything. A massive pulse of energy erupted from beneath the planet. Across the sky, enormous geometric structures rose from the Earth's surface. One emerged from the ocean. Another from the desert. Another from beneath the mountains. They were not weapons. They were gates. Emily stared at the holographic map. There are hundreds. Marcus nodded. Thousands. Lily looked up at him. What are they? Marcus looked at the child. An answer. The sky changed. Every gate activated. A brilliant web of energy surrounded Earth. Jaw's fleet tried to retreat. None of the ships moved. Then a second fleet appeared beyond the moon. The unknown civilization had arrived. Their ships were enormous. Black and violet. They filled the darkness like an approaching storm. Jaw laughed. You see? His voice echoed through the chamber. They have come for the child. Marcus looked toward the approaching fleet. No. Jaw laughed again. They will destroy Earth. Marcus shook his head. They came because they believe Earth is weak. The ancient machine suddenly projected an image of the incoming fleet. Then another image appeared. Humanity. Every major city. Every military base. Every civilian network. The machine connected them. Daniel stared. What is it doing? Marcus understood. It's giving humanity a choice. A choice? Marcus nodded. For thousands of years humanity protected this secret alone. He looked at Lily. Now the secret is protecting them. Across Earth, people watched as the sky filled with impossible light. The ancient gates began drawing energy from the planet. But instead of firing weapons, they created a shield. A vast transparent field spread around Earth. The approaching fleet struck it. Nothing happened. The alien ship stopped. Then another wave struck. The shield held. Jaw's voice became desperate. Destroy the gates. His commanders tried. Every weapon fired at once. Thousands of beams crossed the sky. The gates remained untouched. Marcus watched silently. Emily stood beside him. Father. Marcus looked at her. You could have destroyed them. Yes. Why didn't you? Marcus looked at Lily. Because I came here believing humanity owed me everything. He paused. And I was wrong. Emily smiled faintly. You finally figured that out. Marcus looked at his daughter. You were the reason I stopped. Emily shook her head. No. She glanced at Lily. She was. Marcus smiled. For once I agree with you. Then the ancient machine spoke. Final sequence initiated. Marcus looked toward the center of the chamber. What final sequence? The machine answered. Debt restoration. Marcus's expression changed. What does that mean? A door opened behind the machine. Inside was a small chamber. At its center sat an ancient metal box. Marcus approached. The box opened automatically. Inside was a single object. A photograph. Marcus picked it up. His mother stood in the picture. She was younger. Beside her stood a group of humans. And in her arms was a baby. Marcus stared at the photograph. The baby was him. Emily stepped closer. What is that? Marcus turned the picture over. There was a message. For my son. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. He read it silently. Then he spoke. Your grandfather was wrong. Emily waited. He believed humans took something from us. Marcus looked at the picture. They didn't. He turned the photograph toward Emily. They gave us everything. The ancient machine activated again. Evelyn's voice filled the chamber. My son, if you found this, then you finally know the truth. Marcus closed his eyes. You were never sent to collect humanity's debt. The recording continued. You were sent because your father was afraid. Marcus looked up. Afraid of what? Evelyn answered. Afraid that humanity would remember what the Dominion did. The chamber became silent. Then Evelyn said something that changed everything. The debt was never owed by Earth. Marcus stared at the machine. It was owed by us. Emily looked at him. To humanity. Marcus looked at Lily. The little girl was smiling. She still held the cookie. Marcus slowly walked toward her. He lowered himself to one knee. Lily looked at him. Are you okay? Marcus nodded. No. Then he smiled. But I will be. He reached into his coat. He removed the Dominion insignia. The symbol of the Empire. The symbol he had worn for 40 years. He placed it in Lily's hand. She looked confused. What is this? Marcus answered. Something I don't deserve anymore. He stood. Then opened the planetary channel. His face appeared on every screen across Earth. Millions of humans watched. Marcus spoke. Humanity. He paused. I came here as your enemy. People stared at their screens. I believed you owed my empire a debt. His voice became quieter. I was wrong. Across the planet, soldiers lowered their weapons. Marcus continued. My empire came to your world generations ago. We took your trust. We took your knowledge. We took your lives. And then we erased the truth. His eyes hardened. For that there will never be a debt large enough to repay. He looked toward Lily. But I can begin. Marcus removed the final symbol of his authority. He dropped it. I hereby dissolve the Dominion claim over Earth. A stunned silence followed. No taxes. No tribute. No military occupation. No debt. The words spread across the planet. Then Marcus said the words nobody expected. Earth is free. The chamber went silent. Emily looked at him. You just destroyed your own empire. Marcus smiled. No. He looked toward the ancient gates. I destroyed the lie holding it together. Suddenly, General Shaw's fleet began moving again. Marcus's expression hardened. Shaw had not surrendered. You think this changes anything? Shaw demanded. You still have no authority. I have soldiers. Marcus looked toward the sky. And I have Earth. Shaw ordered his fleet to fire. Every weapon activated. Then Lily stepped toward the ancient machine. The violet light around her hands became brighter. She touched the console. The entire planet responded. The gates transformed. Instead of weapons, they projected a single message across space. We remember. The approaching alien fleet stopped. Their ships scanned Earth. Then one by one, they turned around. Shaw's voice became frantic. What are they doing? Marcus watched them leave. They know the truth. What truth? Marcus looked at the stars. That humanity is not alone. Shaw's fleet surrendered minutes later. The war was over. Not because Earth had destroyed an empire. Because humanity had finally revealed what it had been protecting. Life. Memory. And the ability to forgive. Hours later, Marcus returned to the Carter home. The city was still damaged. Smoke rose in the distance. People were beginning to emerge from shelters. Emily sat at the kitchen table. Lily was beside her. Sarah placed a fresh tray of cookies on the table. Marcus stopped in the doorway. Sarah looked at him. Cookie? Marcus smiled. Yes. Lily pushed the plate toward him. Take 2. Marcus picked up a cookie. He took a bite. This time, he didn't remember war. He remembered his mother. He remembered being a child. He remembered kindness. And for the first time in 40 years, the memory did not hurt. Emily looked at him. So what happens now? Marcus looked through the window at Earth. Now? He smiled. Now I pay my debt. Daniel frowned. You said there was no debt. Marcus nodded. There isn't. He looked at Lily. But there is a promise. Lily tilted her head. What promise? Marcus looked toward the stars. To make sure nobody ever comes here believing humanity is weak. Lily smiled. Then she handed him another cookie. Marcus took it. Outside, Earth's skies slowly cleared. The alien warships were gone. The occupation was over. The debt had been forgiven. But somewhere beyond the stars, ancient civilizations were beginning to hear the same message. Earth remembers. And this time humanity was ready. Because the most terrifying warlord in the galaxy had come to collect humanity's debt. Instead, he had discovered that humanity had given him something far more valuable. A reason to become human again.